I'm going to tell you how I've hacked my way into sticking to new habits. So it's free, it's super flexible.
No way.
It's just a cute little integration that you add to something that you are already using every day. I built a WhatsApp bot. Like, none of this is rocket science.
Babe, it looks insane.
That was foolproof.
People, when they lose it, they think they've lost it all.
So the first is... Okay, get in, loser, because today I'm going to tell you how I've hacked my way into sticking to new habits.
Okay, I cannot wait to hear about this.
I hope you're ready because, babe, you know I love a new habit. I love that feeling of that first day delusion when you do everything perfectly. But then most importantly, I love that feeling months later when you've stuck to it and it's now part of your everyday life. But I, in the past, have had problems sticking to new habits. So I have that that dopamine hit of like writing it all out,
Yes.
doing the first day, and then
Making
you
the
slip
vision
up.
boards.
Totally. And I wanted to find a way that was foolproof for me to actually set and then crucially stick to new habits. And the problem that I've had, because I'm such a habits phobe, you know, I've like read that Atomic Habits book.
Yeah.
I've tried every single system and solution under the sun. So like Excel spreadsheets, I've tried tracking stuff in there, physical journals, like those bullet journals where you tick off every single day.
Yeah.
I've also tried paid apps, right, where it shows you like streaks for the week and stuff like that. But nothing has really been working for me. And the things that I found is like, I don't want to pay for this stuff, right? Like you buy an app and it asks you to pay to log a custom habit. Like surely that's the whole point of a habit tracker. So that just annoys me.
Yeah.
I hate having another like app on my phone for this as well. Like there's enough going on.
Yeah.
And I just found that other solutions like these apps are just rigid and inflexible. I want to track my weird, very niche tailored habits that they don't have on categories.
Of course. And then when you go to something like Excel, first of all, that you use Excel and you try to use it, like kudos to you. But when you try to do something very custom like Excel, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like it's too custom. I'm suddenly getting lost in, does this cell need to be light gray or dark gray or...
Totally. And so I built my own system.
No way.
I built a WhatsApp bot, and it's kind of weird, like it's counterintuitive. I wouldn't put like a WhatsApp bot and habits together. But what this is, like, it's not another app that you have to download on your phone. It's not a spreadsheet. It's just a cute little integration that you add to something that you are already using every day.
Okay.
So it's free, it's super flexible, and it already lives inside a tool that I use.
Yeah.
What this bot does is 3 things. So the first is it allows you to set a custom habit. So you can literally type in anything and it will be like, cool, yeah, I got you. We're going to track this. The second thing you can do is set custom reminders for those habits. So do you want a daily check-in? Do you want a check-in at 2 p.m. every day to remind you to, down a pint of water, whatever it is? You need that. Ruby
I'm getting roasted.
So dehydrated.
In my past life, I was a camel. I always say there's just one day a week that I drink a lot. It gets stored, into my bag or something.
Yeah, it's true. I think in our entire friendship, have I ever seen you drink a glass of water? There's a glass of water right there. Have you touched it? No.
This was the biggest worry of my parents, always. Yeah, what can I say, guys? I'm a camel.
Anyway, okay, so the second thing this bot can do is it can remind you, Ruby, to hydrate yourself at a certain time of the day.
Yeah.
And the third thing, which is super nice, and this is where my weird nerdy tracking thing comes in, is it gives you a weekly report of how you have done on all those habits. And it can help you spot patterns like, oh, you're always fucking up on Wednesdays. What's happening on Wednesdays? Let's fix that.
Yeah. Okay, this sounds so good. Wow. It sounds like you've covered everything. But walk me through the thought process of how did you get to this WhatsApp bot? Because to go from Excel to WhatsApp is a giant leap. So what's the process there?
Yeah, I want to show you the bot so you get a better sense of what it does, and then I'll walk you through the full tech stack. But the high level reason for why I chose a WhatsApp bot is this fundamental need to have a system that's integrated to apps and processes that I'm already using. Like, I want to make it as low friction as possible to integrate these new habits into my life. And so I actually got inspiration. I was like, I think on LinkedIn or something, trawling through it, and I was seeing all these WhatsApp bots, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've only encountered them when I'm booking an online reservation or something like that, but I wonder if I could incorporate that into my personal life. And so I was kind of curious on how it worked, and I wanted something that integrated into an app that I was already using.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But maybe this is a good time to show you how it works.
Yeah, I would love to see how it works.
So step one, and I'm also excited about this because we can drop it. Like, this can be public. Anyone can use this, right? So step one is you get a link and you just open it on your phone. So I'm going to send you the link now. Do you have your phone?
I have my phone. Obviously, we're one, me and my phone.
So I've just sent you the link.
Okay.
And I need you to open it.
Okay, I'm clicking on the link.
Yeah. And it should pop up a message that's pre-typed.
Yeah.
That says start momentum. Hit send on that start momentum message.
Mm-hmm.
And you get this response from the WhatsApp bot. And this is the first interaction with it. So it's like, hey girl.
Hey girl.
Are you ready to start tracking your habits?
Yes.
You can track anything. It gives you some inspo. And what I need you now to do is type in like 1 or 2 or whatever, however many habits you want to track.
Okay. And like how many habits can I track?
Up to 10.
Okay.
So the reason why it's not a constraint with the technical backend, it's more that I think it's overwhelming. For me personally, it's overwhelming if you're tracking more than 10 things a day, right? It gets a little crazy.
Yeah. 100%.
And also because I'm mainly using this on my phone, if I'm having to like go through these 10 bullet points every day, again, it's just not such a great experience. So we're going focused. I suggest 2 to 5.
Okay. So
But you can go up to
what
10.
can we see here? Fitness, 10,000 steps, workout 3 times a week. Oh, okay. So these are the examples.
Yeah, these are examples. So you can literally type whatever you want.
Do I need to put it in a bullet list?
No, just type it whatever form.
Okay. So what I want to track is...
Please say water.
Okay, water. That will make everybody in my life very happy. Then I want to track worked hours. And I want to track fulfillment of the day.
Oh, I love that. Do you mean like if you got all your shit done, or do you mean how fulfilled you felt in that day?
Yeah, so I would say like my gratefulness levels.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm going to put in here, I'm going to track the habits, not texting my toxic situationship.
Yeah, every hour reminder. So you literally just type that in and press send.
Okay.
It asks you what time do you want to check in at the end of the day, and this will be for all of the habits.
Okay.
And so at the end of every day, you'll say, I did like 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5, whatever it is.
Okay.
Once you've set that time, it's then going to ask you throughout the day, are there any specific times you want to be reminded on specific habits?
Oh.
So if you know that your toxic situationship, you always bump into him at lunch or something.
Oh, he always booty calls me at 3 a.m.
Yeah, then set the reminder for 3 a.m., you know? First step, just what time do you want to log everything for the day?
Let's say 5 p.m.
Perfect.
That gives me like some wiggle room if I haven't done anything
that's
to like
nice.
quickly correct
To
it.
quickly go do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just put 5 p.m.
Okay.
And then the final part of this setup is, as I said, anything else you want to be reminded of throughout the day.
Yeah, so I think water throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as you said, we always bump into my toxic situationship at lunch, so not texting him after 1 p.m.
So these are additional reminders that you'll get on top of that everyday tracking message.
Nice.
Yeah. It's quite a lot if you go for like 5. I think when I did it, I set just 1 reminder a day, which was at 2 p.m. I was working on my sleep, and the reminder I set was after 2 p.m., do not drink fucking coffee in like capital letters.
Oh.
Because I always forget, or I'm like, oh, whatever, it's fine.
When you see that message, were there some times when you were like, fuck it, I still need a coffee? Or no?
Yeah, of course. But that's the beauty of the habit tracker, that it just pulls you, it anchors you back to what you're trying to achieve, and just reminds you in that moment that you probably don't need that coffee. Like, go outside for a walk, take a breath of air, and just get a grip.
Yeah.
So for me, I find those reminders really helpful, not because I've forgotten totally about it, but it's more an anchor back to those goals that I have, really.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Okay, so you have set up your bot.
Yay!
And every day now at 5 p.m, you're going to get this little reminder, this little check-in message to ask how you've done on your habits.
Nice.
Plus these reminders throughout the day. One of the characteristics that I've given this bot, its tone of voice is pretty nice and chill. Mm-hmm. So some of the apps I've used in the past, like, you know, when you've like lost a streak, they're kind of punitive, and they're like, you, like, very dramatic, you've lost your streak, like when you lose your streak on Duolingo, it's this whole like, sad event.
Don't get me talking about this Duolingo bird. It also died randomly.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, babe, what the hell?
I've seen so much content on this.
Yeah, and he also like kind of like resurrected into a person, but yeah, maybe the reason it died is because it was so
mean,
needy as well.
Had some bad karma.
I lost my streak. Yeah, I'm sorry. We have a life to live, Duo.
The vibe of this, I wanted to make feel encouraging, and if you mess up for a day, when you track your habits, it will give you messages like, "Don't stress too much. Tomorrow's a new day." Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So it's kind of nice that you can customize it.
Yeah, because one thing that I also have that's actually really nice, because one thing that I also have with that streak mentality is, people, when they lose it, they think they've lost it all. And it's when you know you had a past streak, and then you know you're starting at 0.
It's this all or nothing mindset.
All or nothing. Yeah. And with habits, it's never or nothing.
Yeah.
You can always pick back up, and doing 80% or 70% is always better than doing 0%.
Yeah. So now you have that in your phone.
Ooh,
I'm very excited to see how you do on all of these habits.
Yeah.
And I'll also share it because I'd love for other people to be able to use it. It's totally free. It took me around a day to build, but honestly, I've been using it for a month now, hyper-focused on fixing my sleep. And the results are incredible. So the first week, I was tracking 3 things, right? No caffeine after 2. No eating after 7 p.m. These are so boring, but it's like, these are really the things that...
I could never.
Yeah, Ruby, we're opposites in every way, like fashion, men, sleep patterns, eating patterns. Ruby eats at like midnight. I need to eat way earlier.
But I will always like eat a little bit, and then like 2 hours later I come back and then eat another little bit, and then like a mouse.
Sometimes it's terrible because you eat a little bit of like cake in the fridge and then you leave it, and then I've scoffed it and you were like planning to go back.
It's also funny because it makes me feel like home, because at home it was always the same thing, like I eat a little bit and then somebody else eats it, so it kind of makes me feel like I'm at home. So please keep doing it. And yeah, it's funny like how we're so opposite. It's actually crazy.
So opposite.
Like we could be sitting next to each other, and then Emily would be like, somebody handsome just walked in, and I look at him like, oh.
And vice versa. You're like, let me show you my ultimate crush, and I'm like, icked the fuck out. But I think that's our strength, because we're never going to go for the same guy.
True. My last time I showed my crush to Emily, she was like, listen, that could be your little brother. Yeah, so we're opposite in everything.
We are opposite in everything. I set myself these very boring sleep habits to hit. Yeah. First week, I was slipping up all over the place, but I got my end of week report, and it helped me identify patterns. So it was, again, kind of boring, very specific to me, but Tuesdays and Thursdays, I had loads of meetings late in the day, and that meant that like I just threw all my habits out the window. So it helped me just focus on those days.
Yeah.
And then for the last 3 weeks, not to like, you know, be so obsessed with myself, but my sleep score on Whoop, which I wear every night, you actually have never seen me in my full night gear. I'm a freak.
Oh, you're one of
I have a nightcap. I've never
it.
Showed you this. I have the thing. I have earplugs, everything. Anyway, my sleep score on Whoop is now over 80% for the last 3 weeks.
And you wear the Whoop only at night?
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, because I think it looks a bit ugly.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's too sporty.
Yeah, when I wear it, I just look like I'm about to go and do a high rocks race or something.
You look like you have 3
As if
kids.
in my dreams I've never done high rocks. Anyway.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But 80%, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I have found it over the last month super good to get into these habits, and now I can reset. So I kind of feel like I've nailed that part of my life, the sleep, and now I can move on and focus on something else. So,
but babe, that's crazy that you built that yourself, because how otherwise would you know that you're slipping up on Tuesdays and Wednesdays?
Yeah,
because of the meetings.
Yeah, exactly. And in the past, when I've used physical, I used to have these big A3 planners.
Yeah, I've seen you around with those big A3 papers with
and like rulers and pencils. And I'm like ticking it off, but it's much harder to pattern recognize when you're doing it manually, unless you convert the data into a database or something. Yeah. So I found this really powerful, and I hope you do too.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it.
Do you want to see a bit behind the scenes of how it works?
Yeah. So take me through like the process of building it. So you're sitting behind your computer screen, and then what?
Yeah. The first thing I did was actually use GPT RBF just to be like, how to make a WhatsApp bot, what are the different applications, what are my options, blah, blah, blah. And that helped me identify at least the different tech that I needed. So the engine of all of this is the automation like flow, right? So this is a Zapier or a Make, and this powers the entire bot. So it does things like register your response, figure out that if you say X, then it needs to remind you Y. If you want to be reminded at a certain time, it logs that and then helps remind you at that certain time. But I knew I needed this engine. And then on top of that, there were 3 different functions that I needed to make this bot work. One was the integration with WhatsApp. So that's like a Watty, I think that's how you say it, which is the expensive version of this other thing called 2Chat, which is what I ended up using.
Oh,
but that's just the link to
Watty?
your WhatsApp. Yeah, Watty. WATI. Watty.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they could work on their branding a little bit.
Yeah. Clearly there's no woman in that team.
Yeah.
Hello?
True.
Watty?
So that's the one thing I needed on top of this engine. The second is I needed a database to store the results of what I was tracking to be able to give me these weekly reports. Yeah. So I used Airtable for that, but there are other options, right? Yeah, now I'm an Airtable convert after you.
Yes. Babe, this is what I'm proud of. Like the Excel queen is converted to an Airtable queen.
I know what's happening. But I could have used Google Sheets or something like that. Or Excel. Yeah. But Airtable is much easier for like API integration and stuff like that. Yeah. So I went with Airtable to store data. And then the third thing I needed was an LLM to humanize the responses. So I said I wanted this to have a really warm, motivating tone of voice. So I needed an LLM to convert the information coming out of this engine into language that would make sense for the user. Yeah. So I used ChatGPT, OpenAI's API for that. Yeah. And that's how it works. So Make is this big engine in the middle. And I'll show you here what the Make looks like.
Whoa, babe.
This is the workflow automation. And you can see here that these are the different applications they've used. So you've got 2Chat, which kicks it off. Then the data goes to Airtable. Yeah. Then there's this router from Make. And then there's a bunch of decision tree logic of if the user says X, then store the data in Y. If the user says A, then remind them at B. And so this was actually, it looks a little bit crazy. But as I said, it took me about a day to build. And as soon as I had the logic, I still find it useful to write out on a piece of paper. Yeah. But as soon as I had the logic of, okay, user needs to say something to 2Chat, then it needs to go here, here, here. Yeah. It's actually very easy to then convert it and build it in Make. So Make is sick.
Babe, Make is so
Make is sick. You are a bit of a Zapier fan, but Make is much cheaper.
No, babe, I'm not a Zapier fan at all.
What happened?
Make is way better.
Oh.
Also because I feel like it's more visual than Zapier.
Yes. And you still have that co-pilot functionality, which is super nice.
Yeah.
And
did you use it for this?
I did use it a little bit. I still find it helpful to have the logic all down first, so I don't use it for that, but I use it to help troubleshoot. So I had this huge issue, actually, not huge, but this very annoying issue of data formats. So GPT was giving me answers in a JSON file, and that wasn't registering in Airtable, and I was like, what the hell? And I was using the Copilot to help diagnose the issue and fix it. That plus some handy YouTube tutorials.
Yeah, I love YouTube.
Yeah. And that's how I made it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Babe, it looks insane. It is insane. And the results.
Yeah. This was a big step for me because I don't think I've made such a product, basically, is what this is before.
Yeah.
And it's something, even a few months ago, I would have been like, I'm not going to build a WhatsApp bot. Like, what are you talking about? That sounds so complicated.
Yeah.
And as soon as you just do that 1% effort to understand what it would take, okay, here are the tools, it's not that difficult, just make the account in Make and start.
Yeah.
Like, anything really is possible. And so for me, this was just a really cool experience to build a mini product that not only was fun to make, but also has helped me. And I hope it can now help you.
Yeah, babe, it's going to help me to drink my water, to track
I feel
my...
like you're not committed to that one. We need to X that out.
I drink water. It's just like...
ways.
I drink water. It's sneaky. Like, nobody sees it.
Yeah.
I put my head under
Stealth
the tap.
mode.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, I'm going to use it to track my water, to not text my toxic situationship. Yeah. It's great, but... What you said, it's true. Like, if you just peel back the layer one bit and you just write down the logic, because the logic is already in your head, and you get over that hurdle of, it's not made for me, I cannot do it.
Yes.
Baby, you can literally make anything.
Yeah. And maybe 3 little, lol learning moments that I had during this. One, simplify. Start super simple with an idea and then simplify again and again before you even build. So before as I was going in to build this, I had this huge fantasy of this could be in group chats. It could have you could have a dashboard with your friends and track everyone's habits. Yeah. And I very quickly realized, 1, you can't actually integrate WhatsApp bots into group chats. And 2, the whole dashboard thing is just too complicated. So it's start with an idea, simplify, and then you can get to something that works ultra quickly. 2, it's a little bit of a perseverance game. Like, none of this is rocket science. Like, I'm not that smart. If you encounter an issue, everything is a YouTube tutorial or a Copilot question away. Like, you really can do this. And it's a cool feeling when you do too, when you don't come from a technical background.
Yeah, to be honest, it's kind of addictive because when you're doing it and you literally bite down into it and then it's not working, but you refuse to give up, and then all of a sudden you find something. Yeah. And usually it's like a little bit more up.
Totally.
In your sequence. Totally. Then it's so addictive when you solve that issue. Yeah. But I think that is one of the greatest skills to have.
Yes, I agree.
So
and then,
well done.
Thank you. The third, just because we need to round it out, I had 3. Validate the most uncertain parts of it, like right from the beginning. So before I started building, as I said, I had this group chat idea. That was the first thing that I went away and researched. Like, is it even possible to make this WhatsApp bot in a group chat? The answer was no. Okay. But there was a scenario where I drew out all of the logic and designed it all, and then went back and I was like, oh shit, this isn't even possible. So to save time, just validate those big uncertain questions first.
Well done, babe.
Thanks.
It looks sick, and it is sick, and the results are crazy.
Well, you can see I no longer have fucking bags under my eyes.
The bags under my eyes are designer. Yeah, I can see you look very well rested, and a sleep score of 80 is crazy.
I'm very excited for you to try it, and we will share the WhatsApp bot so that people can try it for themselves.
Yeah, they all need to try it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, become a superhuman.
Yeah, see you next time.